Hello again, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to Banished. I thought I'd give an overview of the game and things that I've been doing when I've been playing it during my live stream at twitch.tv/F.A.Q. The city you see behind me is a city, or behind the menu I should say, is a city that I've been building for over 2 days, and you can see that again at the live stream at twitch.tv/F.A.Q. I think about 12 hours of footage of me just getting to this point. So the game has an ability to start a new game, load an old game, tutorials, achievements, options, and exit. We're gonna just go ahead and go right into the load. And when I had started this game for the very first time, I went in and started 1 or 2 places on my own, and then eventually hit a brick wall, and of course, like all men, didn't read the instructions, then went to the tutorials, and then after that, I believe started, actually this is an earlier city of Velociraptor, well, my city named Velociraptor, suggested by one of the viewers over there on Twitch. So this is an earlier save from that, I do believe, and or maybe it's a whole another town. It kind of looks similar, but anyway, let's go visit Velociraptor, and I'll show you around Banished. An amazing game made by just one man, or at least a few people for publishing and such. So this is the game, and this is a very, very, very advanced city, and it took a long time to get here. There are disasters in the game, such as tornadoes, which one came blowing through here up towards the top of the map, and fires, and so you kind of have to construct your city with things like that in mind, although they're extremely rare. There are still things that need to be considered. The greatest enemy of all, of course, is your failure to plan correctly, and also your failure to supply your people with food and shelter and everything else. And of course, all of that, everything comes down to the workers, your employees, and people who live in your city, the citizens. So anyway, let's take a look at some of the things in the game. I'll go ahead and just minimize some of these menus. It's really cool because from my previous playthrough, it saves every window exactly as it should be when it saves. And what I'm going to do is, since I kind of liked how everything was set up, I should have saved before that, but that's okay, no biggie. So anyway, I guess we could start with your primary, most important building. It's going to be very confusing because there's a lot here, but we start here with the storage barn. A barn that is basically all produced goods are stored here. Food, clothing, and tools and other things that people need to survive and do their daily business is stored here at the storage barn. Of course, there's limits to these buildings, so 3 of them have been built here, not to mention another one there, and many more across this river. Now, next to that is your stockyards, where logs, firewood, which is chopped wood that's comes from logs used to heat homes. That's why you see all these fires going in these homes. That's how they stay warm in the winter. And of course, there are other things such as stone and iron, different building materials. Of course, iron can be used to build homes and also can be used to build tools and other things such as that. Alright, so looking good so far, by the way, doesn't it? It's really a beautiful game. Look at the art style. Just the trees look amazing, the leaves look amazing on the ground. Just everything feels right. It feels like Stronghold. It feels like Anno. It feels like a little bit of everything that you've ever loved about city planning and or resource gathering games such as Tropico. This is right up your alley. So we could start a new game, and I of course could go through everything in all of these buildings, and they're very advanced. And oh, down here you see a little market, but it's nice just to look at the scenes of the game. Look at this high traffic area here as people walk under the walkway there at the tavern, over the catwalk where storage is. It's an amazing game, and you can see all the smoke coming out of the chimneys. It's wintertime. Of course, there are stone homes here that are less likely to fire and less likely to burn down, but still do, and also provide more heat by losing less heat through the structure. Thus, they need less fuel. And of course, across here, you have wooden homes that are easier to build and take a little bit more energy to maintain. And up here we have the woodcutters who are helping to bring all that fuel. You can see them chopping away there and gathering all the wood needed for that. Of course, I have 3 full-time woodcutters, but yeah, you need a lot of it. And you can delegate exactly what people do. Here's our fuel limit, 3,000. We could make that 0. We could make that 500. If we needed to use more logs for construction, we could cut down on the amount going to firewood, and that would be very important and very beneficial for our city. You have city services, such as the church here, and the graveyard behind it is built separately. That increases, or rather slows, the decrease of people's happiness when loved ones die, especially if you're screwing up bad and people are starving or freezing to death. That can be beneficial to slowing down or stopping any amounts of happiness. Of course, If citizens are unhappy, they're less productive, and if they're less productive, well, you can see everything starts to go down the toilet very quickly. Additionally, in the stockyard here, you see those gray blocks in the back. Those are stone. The darker, almost black blocks in the front is iron. And over here at the mine, which takes a lot to build, you can see coal, and that also takes a lot of employees to do. In fact, we have 10 out of 15 employees just working here alone, and we have a lot at labor, working at labor and such like that. So I'll give you a basic run through of the game. We'll go start a new game and kind of experience everything for the first time. And shout out to Strategic Warlord of the Rat Pack, who kind of helped me with this nice setup here. It's a very nice setup where if you build in the middle of the woods to gather food, the best thing to do is to build a hunting cabin, so that way deers and things passing through in the wilderness can be hunted. A gatherer's hut, which, as you can see, there are like little onions and things around this home that can be gathered, roots and such, for the diet, and also add to the food supply. As well as you saw a tree being cut down. The forester's lodge is both cutting down mature trees and planting trees and not cutting them down until they're mature. Our log limit, of course, is 1,700 because we have a huge, huge city. This doesn't look like much. What would it take you 10-15 minutes to build this? Oh, no, 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 no. Even on full speed, it takes a lot to build these things. So anyway, we could cover most of the structures. Here you have pastures, and here you have farms. Of course, it's winter time, so those employees are not working at this moment. But there you can basically tell everyone to, hey, cut down every tree in this area, and they'll go to cut it down. That's what laborers do. Additionally, you can also build these mines, and this is a quarry here. A lot of employees needed there, the mine over there. You can do some trading. As we can see now, the trader's boat is pulling up, and I'll quickly show you how that works because it's a very unique bartering system in this game. The trader will pull up to the dock here, and then we can make some very specific orders and such. As you can see here, what he's selling this time around is coal, iron tools, wool coats, hide coats, and firewood. In the future, or should I say in the past, in this city's history, I had to purchase apple seeds, plum seeds, wheat seeds. Those cost a lot. They're 2,500 credits in this game, and to do that, you have to trade. For instance, here, I have hide coats and ale up for sale, and of course, those values are 15 and 8. So for instance, if we wanted all of his firewood, let's type in 500, for example, that's going to cost 2,000. Well, 103 times 8, of course, only gives us 824, according to the system. With 0 in the hide coat, we still need 1176. So you can manage that and then click the trade button when you're ready. You can also check the inventory of what you want to trade and have it ready and waiting for when the trader arrives via his boat. And you can also auto purchase and make orders for next time if it happens to work that way. But for now, let's actually go back into that menu and dismiss him and have him go on his merry way. Now, these are fishermen's huts here. And that's, of course, the trader going down the river. Even in the winter, the waterways are still open, so that does not affect it at all. These bridges also were built by yours truly, as you can. It's a really nice system to put these bridges down. Most games, it's a very big pain, but for this game, it's very simple, and the bridges are actually work pretty intelligently. No diagonal though. There's only grid patterns available, so you can't do any type of diagonal building, unfortunately. So anyway, that's it for this city. I guess here's our town hall, which gives us access to a lot of important information, which helps us run our city. Here's the hospital, another city service building, and over here in the back is a schoolhouse, which helps to educate your citizens and makes them more productive. So let's go through a little basic rundown of the how to get started in your first time or two. So we'll just go ahead and quit here, and we'll start a new game, and we'll call it, oh, by the way, here there's town names, map seeds. You can select your terrain, size, climate, disasters, and starting conditions. Here we have a city of Mender. Let's just call it Newbie, the city of Newbie. And the map seed, well, let's see, we're at, let's see, we got, oh, I don't know. We got about 52 subscribers. I was born in 88, and hell, why not the number 0? There you go. Right, so we have, let's see, I think everything else is good. Medium, by the way, there are different starting difficulties, which makes things different. A hard game means they only start with a wagon. Medium is a pretty standard start where they've already got one of those supply barns built. And easy is where they basically start with everything going as well as a herd of livestock. I started this city on medium, and pretty much everything else was the same other than the map seed and the town name. So let's go ahead and start a new game. It doesn't take any time at all for it to load up, and that is just a beautiful art style. It reminds me of playing games such as Emperor Rise of the Middle Kingdom, or even, I want to say Alpha Centauri, but that's not it. I want to actually say, and by the way, they're walking up to the barn to grab coats and such, so that way they can work longer in the winter, and we should get started right away. But anyway, it does remind me of games such as Pharaoh, Rise of Egypt or something, whatever it was called. So the game, it will rain a lot, and as it rains, that is a good thing because that will make your farms a lot more plentiful. And man, are we dealing with a lot, and I mean a lot of mountains here. That is incredible. Wow, that's kind of a bad start, actually. We're right next to some real big lakes, but that's okay because that means a lot of fish. We can do a lot of fishing there. So let's start with something very basic in the game. One thing I like to do immediately is to build down a dirt road and have it go up to where your supplies are needed. Here we have a little bit of a bump. Roads make people travel faster, so that's important. Next thing we want to do is we want to start delegating jobs. So if we go down to this gear and click on this thing called Assign Jobs, we can click it and we have 10 laborers. So for right now, we do need a few builders to build this road, even though it says 0. So we can get them on that. And everyone, of course, has a home above their head because everyone here is homeless. So one of the things we need to do is over in the right corner, Removal and Destruction Tools. We click on that, and we want to tell everybody, hey, we would like to harvest these trees here. Boom, done. They'll get to work on that. Collect stones. We'll collect the stones under those trees as well. And hey, what about the iron? Iron here looks like these darker blocks, unlike the large rounder boulders. These look more sharp, so we're going to have them collect everything up to there. In the meantime, we do have enough supply to build a few homes as well, and shelter is very important here. So we're going to build 3 homes, or at least tell them to, and we'll put down the sites for them there, and let's actually build one more here. With that done, we're going to extend the road, which is an easy click here, over to the wheel, of course, and we'll extend that to there. And another thing we will need right away as well is a wood chopper, so that way we can get firewood ready for the winter. You are battling winter in this game. That is your greatest enemy, as well as yourself. So what we do want to do is click on Resource Production, and the first one is a woodcutter. Do not be confused. Woodcutters do not cut down trees. That is best for the foresters and or just clearing an area for future city construction, but the woodcutter is for cutting logs into firewood. As you can see, we've already got some there, but it will be quickly used as our populace expands, and you don't want to be caught out in the open, out in the cold, quite literally, with not being ready that way. So I do want to expand my stockyard to behind where it is currently, so what we will do is we will think of the future of the city and not build directly next to the barn, as we could build another storage barn there. So we'll put down that building there, the fire cutter right there, and we'll expand for future resource collection by going to the storage unit and clicking on the stockpile, which is a group of round circles. Oh, round circles, that's redundant, but I should just say circles stacked in a pyramid. That would be a little bit more accurate. So we have, let's see, how about a 4x5 area that's already built? It's just basically a dirt area where everyone will bring things when they're empty. And we do have 2 out of 9 workers up in this upper left-hand professions bar, and that we need 9 to do it at maximum peak efficiency, but we'll just start with 2 because we'd like our laborers to continue to get stone and clear some area for some future city construction. In the future, we could clear out the area just left of this mountain here and right of this mountain here for future building construction, and you can kind of see that if we were able to clear out a lot of these rocks and ore, that's where future buildings can go as well. So in a perfect world, our city would start here and homes would go down either side of this mountain, and then we would have fisheries all around this all around the lake here, and there's no sense of building anything on that island. And we would probably do the same here, as well as maybe building some on the river to fish as well. So we'd be very reliant on fish here, and then over here in this area we could build future farms. Now this doesn't look very far from the main area, but it is, so we would probably want to also build an industrial area around here, another stockpile area, and more additional storage farms, or rather storage barns, so that way the farms can bring their finished crops to that area and then eventually to the homes. So let's get a little bit of production going. You can see people actually dropping off supplies at these homes now, and we're just going to speed it up for time purposes since this is about all we're going to be able to build. You can see this woman putting down the frame. She's one of the 2 builders we've assigned. There's the other one, and they've already started construction on the home, and it just finished. You can see inside the occupants are somebody named Millie, Alfred, and Artha, and you can see their ages and names and occupations and whatnot, and their sex as well, which isn't really overly important. People will just continue to make children and will expand into more homes so long as you're building them new space and keeping them happy. This bar down here, by the way, to the right where I clicked on before the gear, if you click on the very first one, general information about the city, this is a very important one as well, because it shows your city name, the year you're in, but most importantly, average health and happiness of citizens. That's very important here. So if you keep them happy, they will be at the highest production, and as you can see, there may be a new addition to here. Oh, look it. We brought up the event log under that same menu, and we've noticed that Lot, and Doria have become age enough to become laborers. They're old enough now to become laborers. You see people standing around now. Why is there a question mark there? Well, you can click this button to assign one person to work here, or you can do it in the professions tab. Either way, it's your choice. But anyway, we've got a nice start on our city here, and what I should have done is slowed it down just a little bit ago, but we'll do some future planning here. So our city would wind around like this and whatnot, and we do want to build some hunter-gatherer sections, and for now, since we don't really want to do much down here, we could put it down here, but there's a lot of rocks that would get in the way of building a road. So what we will do is we'll build a road up here, and that goes perfectly. By the way, any trees that are in the way of the road, the workers will clear, and if they're cutting down any of these trees or having to mine anything, like for instance these rocks here may be in the way of the road, that rock there will be mined and collected and brought back to the stockyards and used as a resource rather than just being thrown away or wasted. So let's pretend our road's finished here, and now we're up in this nice wooded area here. It's not too large, but that doesn't really matter yet. What we do want to start with is a hunting cabin. So we'll go ahead and put that along the road. The arrows, by the way, can touch the road. That goes to show that it is touching the road, and that's the direction it faces. My hand slipped at the end there and it went off the end, but no big deal. So the the hunter will be our first gatherer of the food gathering variety, or food production buildings, and we'll do the same with the gatherer on the other side of where we just built the hunter's lodge or cabin, and it looks like we can't build him exactly across, but that's no big deal. In the future, when we need more wood and we're cutting down less tree clear cutting, we will just go ahead and build a forester around here somewhere, and those 2 buildings will be constructed after the road, and that's a very good start. We have homes for people to live. We don't have enough just yet, but you know, that's just the way it has to be. And we're in early summer, by the way, so we can definitely build some more. So we'll go ahead and loop around here, and we'll go ahead and build just like this, a small little neighborhood just behind those homes. We could have even gone up one and built the homes back to back, but we'll make these ones face that row behind them. Perfect. And so now we have, and I'm not exactly sure what the maximum, I guess that's the maximum capacity, but it goes down to families. You start with 6 families in medium, or maybe it's 5. Either way, we'll have room for expansion. So there you go. So we could build some more hunters' lodges down here, and they will harvest the deers there. One extra thing I want to do is just build a quick fishing dock, or a fishery. I guess a fishery may be a little different than a fishing dock in real life, but anyway, we'll put it up there, and that'll be built. And what we'll do now is we do need 14 workers on all of the construction projects, so we'll see how far we can get. People will die over time due to accidents and due to old age, due to disease, due to starvation and freezing, so that's no bueno. So in this game, it's definitely a good idea to keep everyone alive, keep them happy, keep them healthy, and there's plenty of ways to do that. As you can see, all the professions on the left, there's a specific building for each one of those, but no building order. I could build anything right now I wanted. We could build a church and make that our priority and spend a lot of resources doing it, but a lot of people would basically die for their faith, and that would be not good to our economy, and that would make things a hell of a lot harder. And I hear some people even like to do a hard start, because you can move the wagon. I think you can move the wagon to wherever you'd like, or at least the storage barn. And so if we didn't want to start here specifically, we could have moved to a completely different area, such as here, and started our town between two lakes. But we built between a lake and a river, so there you go. No work needs to go on at the woodcutter anymore because we have all the fuel we need. We've made the limit there of 200, and so that's exactly what sits there. And we're going to go ahead and give the order to clear cut some more so we can continue building. So we'll, oops, I didn't want to do that. Sometimes I get those two confused. We're going to go ahead and harvest trees. We may as well get rid of everything behind the town since we'll be expanding that way soon. We'll make sure they look for all 3 types of resources and clear those out. When builders are not building, they automatically become laborers. And that's a good thing. Looks like we're already out of food, so luckily we already got some of the buildings up, or at least we're started on those buildings. One of the things I think we should have done is, and of course if we built slower this would have been a little better, but we would have had a fishery started and we would have had more food in the reserves and everything. And you start out with quite a bit of potatoes, but for your first 2 or 3 years you're definitely going to want to start on slow. So when the fishery's done, more food will come in. This may be a hard winter for people, and you'll see that people are probably going to perish. But the first couple of years are hard. Being part of this, part of being banished is not easy, and so you'll have to do your best to survive. And this game basically makes you your own boss and your own enemy. We're going to reduce the number of laborers or builders and increase the number of fishermen. And we'll cut down on builders and let laborers. So 3 people will be gathering supplies, 4 people will be fishing, and 3 people will be out and about gathering wood. Builders will be building. And now actually, since it's 6 of 0, since all construction projects are completed, we're going to go ahead and take those people off the line. No need for builders now. We'll make 3 of them hunters, 4 of them gatherers, and allow the other 2 to go out and mine as much as possible and gather supplies. So we're now in early winter, so it's still a long road ahead, and as you can see, people are going to the fishing hut. It's creating enough food as it can, and the food will go immediately, as you saw there a flash in the inventory. It'll go from the storage barn to tables, and it seems like a lot of people will hog the food. You see 49, 12, that's not too bad. Some houses I've seen on my own worlds will have 1,000 fish in their house. It's like somebody stole all the cheese from Skyrim and just stacked it in your house for lols. So anyway, you can see our health dropping a little bit. Happiness is up. Health is just kind of, I have always had it at about 4.5 stars rather, or 4.5 hearts, and that's hard to maintain when you get bigger populaces. But the game is fantastic. There's a lot to do. You choose which way you go, but that's the way I found to be the best. Next thing I would do is, of course, build a forester and continue on building houses, because your most important resource is people. And up here you can see the number of students, children, and adults. We have 12 workers, no students, but 7 children will be coming up of age, not in this next year, but over time. And eventually they'll be able to take over the jobs, and the jobs of people who've perished before them, and new jobs that you've made for them. And of course sometimes you have to work a building at half capacity and fill it in later. As you see here, Loette the Gatherer died of starvation. She was dedicated to her job. She did not eat any of the food. And you can see people have died and they've been replaced, and that's just how it is. So it's a hard couple of years to start with. Of course, I'm sure you can do much better than me, so tell me about all of your experiences and what you think of Banished. It's a fantastic game. I love trying it out, and I love live streaming it, and I probably will do more in the future, so go check that out. By the way, this line with the arrow above it means we've met our maximum on wood cutting, and the circle with a cross through it just means that we can no longer build, or rather no longer can cut wood, because no logs exist in our inventory or in our stockyards here next to our storage barn. So there you go, look at that, onions 22, mushrooms 22, fish, good. And eventually there will be venison in here and every other thing for goodies. So the next thing to do is to expand to your heart's desire, to the edges of the map and beyond. Well, I guess not beyond, because of course that's thinking outside of the square or the plot of land that we're given to build on. So if you want a challenge, if you want something that feels like SimCity meets Anno meets Civilization maybe, and just a combination of all those great games from before, go ahead and pick this up. There's no battle system, there's no multiplayer, it's just you versus yourself and Mother Nature, and those two can be real enemies. So anyway, that's it for Banished, and that's it for me. Again, I'm Raptor. I'd like to thank you for joining me here, and until next time, Keep your password pimp pants strong. Bye, everybody. See you, Rat Pack.